Just enough fury. Still recharging.
Dave, as you know, I'm a huge fan of Devil and the Evils.
Yeah, that's the first thing I learned about you.
Yeah, which means I like Diablo quite a bit. Diablo 3 is a game that I've spent many, many hours playing, as well as previous entries in the series. So when they announced it was coming to Switch, I was very, very excited. Then, last week, Blizzard brought over an actual chest.
A huge chest.
Now, I've played
full of loot.
many, many hundreds of hours of Overwatch, and I can tell you, it feels so good to finally open a loot box from Blizzard and get something good out of it.
Popping shade at you never getting any good Zarya skins there.
Put good Zarya skins in the game.
In Diablo.
But this chest had 4 switches in it with Diablo, the final build of Diablo, and we played it together. And you played it as well.
Yep.
Recently, and it's weird because the most exciting thing about it is that it's Diablo.
Yeah, like they haven't really needed to change much to really make it shine on Switch, which probably speaks more to Diablo than really you could say anything else. It works amazingly on Switch.
Yeah, I mean there are some, from like a fundamental perspective, like the game is as it should be. It's a good representation of the other versions of Diablo in terms of the gameplay.
It's got all the same quality of life stuff that they had with the console versions, like the quick inventory stuff, like radio menus look really good. Like I played it mostly on PC. This is really the most I've spent with it on a console version, and I found it was like, again, super easy to just get like your head around the way everything worked.
Yeah, and it's feature rich as well. It's got the season stuff in it. It's got online play, local play. It's got the Reaper of Souls expansion. It's got the extra classes.
Yeah, Necromancer and everything.
Yeah, and it feels that the only obvious things that stand out to me is it doesn't look as good as it. I mean, it's not going to, right?
Yeah.
Compared to, and so that's like, having said that, it's only really noticeable when you're playing handheld, I found. Like, you can tell it's like a lower resolution version of it. Everything's not as sharp looking. And at times it can be a bit tricky to kind of keep track of the action, almost, especially when you've got a bunch of players together.
Yeah, we're like 4 player on a smaller screen. But when I was playing, I thought I'm happy that they've made small sacrifices here and there to keep the feeling of Diablo true. Like, I'd rather sacrifice in graphics, say, to keep loads of mobs on the screen, to keep all the abilities and all the effects like really bright and colourful. I'd much prefer that than have like super fidelity barbarian.
Yeah, so we played like fairly early. We started from the beginning of the game, and
yeah, it was just after rescuing Deckard Cain.
Yeah, so and they have like in that first few hours, they have a few like large mobs, and there wasn't any kind of performance hits or anything like that in either version, standard or handheld or docked.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, I think that's an important part of it. Like, it might look slightly worse when you're playing in handheld, but that doesn't reduce the underlying satisfaction you get running into enemies.
It's the feeling of Diablo you want. You don't like Diablo's great, but you're not jumping into Diablo for the look, right? You're jumping in for the feeling it gets you, like that loot chase, all those mobs, and the satisfaction of crunching them all with like massive attacks.
And the moment you dock it, it looks great again, like on a big screen, and you know, you can follow everything, and it all plays really, really well. I think that's the most dangerous part of it. It's like, to me, I feel like it's
been a long time since we've called the game dangerous.
I mean, Diablo's a dangerous series, and most Blizzard games are dangerous to me.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's the most appealing part of it, having like this kind of 2-part experience where when I have it docked and I'm playing on a big screen, I'm also very likely going to be connected to Wi-Fi and be able to play with friends and that kind of stuff. So like, I feel like I get the kind of overall the proper Diablo experience when docked, but if I take it off on handheld, that's kind of like my permission to grind and use my off moments to, you know, loot chase and that.
It almost feels like we're cheating a bit by living in like a city, because we have a commute and we have like the London Underground. That gives you an opportunity to play like a perfect bite-sized chunk of Diablo, like chase another piece of loot, do a little grinding. But like, people that don't get that, I feel like almost missing out, because if they're like more online all the time, or they don't have the opportunity to just sit on like a tube carriage and escape the world for 30 minutes. It's like, that's a perfect Diablo time. Like,
it's
the
so
world's
good.
gifting us Diablo time now.
Yeah, that's the most exciting part of it. And then like, I loved playing Diablo, but I played it very in an isolationist fashion on both PC.
I
and
played it solo
PS4.
too, yeah.
But like, I'm actually excited about the idea of playing with people on the big screen and then telling everyone, all right, let's go away. We'll meet back in 2 or 3 days or tomorrow, and make sure you grind a bunch, and we'll come back together and progress further. So that is the most exciting part of it. And like, it's a game that I really want to play with other people now. Before I was like, I just want the atmosphere of it, and kind of like, I want to
immerse myself.
I want to immerse myself. Now I'm like, it feels like I played it through a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I played a bunch of it, so I feel like I can have more of a communal experience, and the Switch just happens to be the perfect way to do that.
Yeah, the way the multiplayer worked was super cool. Just the fact that, like, I've never added anyone on my Nintendo friends. I've never put in a friend code because I hate that system real bad. But we were just on the same Wi-Fi, and Diablo was like, "Hey, these other nerds are on this Wi-Fi account playing Diablo 2. Do you want to join them?" So just going down the pub with your mates, pulling out a few switches, and just completely ignoring each other, and crunching some mobs for 30 minutes is like, it's great. Just the way it works, it needs to be. It's one of those games that needs to be seamless. If the more faff they have, the less attractive it is to just go and like chase a quest with your friends. So it needs to just be like snappy, quick, drop in and out.
The other thing is, I know there's a lot of like the Blizzard community is very large and vocal, and like every time, like I tweeted about having Diablo and playing Diablo last week, and a lot of the responses were like, "Oh, it's just the same game we've been playing for ages." And I was looking at those tweets.
Nobody said that
like,
about Skyrim when that came out.
Yeah, I was looking at those tweets like, that sounds like it's. Why is that a bad thing? Like, it's a really good game, and now it's on Switch. I can appreciate that there's an element of people wanting new Diablo stuff, and Blizzard have said that's happening. But I got the base like Diablo experience in the palm of my hand, and I'm excited about it.
And it's that argument, right, where the people who were working on making Diablo 3 on Switch, like, that's not pulling resources.
No, they're a separate team.
Yeah, like you can have both. Like,
yeah.
You can afford to be greedy in this instance. Like, Blizzard's literally giving you your cake, and you're allowed to eat it.
I'm excited to play more of it. I'm looking forward to integrating that into my lifestyle now.
See, I know you well enough that you saying I'm looking forward to integrating Diablo into your lifestyle means you're going to play on the toilet.
That's exactly it.
TAM code for playing Diablo on the pooper.
My Dead Cells, most of my Dead Cells time is on the pooper. I'm not gonna lie. The poo follicles on my Switch are abundant. If I ever offer you my Switch, never take it.
Oh, well, I think that's the highest praise we can give Diablo. I think that puts a nice nail in the coffin of this conversation. Well, I guess for everything else Diablo 3 and anything else cool that Blizzard's doing, they can keep tuned to GameSpot.
Yeah, GameSpot.com.
And for all your toilet updates on Diablo, where can they find you?
I'm at Tamoor on Twitter.
And I'm at a regular Dave. I promise I won't talk about any of that sort of filth.
Don't act like, 1, you don't poo, 2, you don't play games in the toilet.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
It was what he is.